Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you my Mobile Fidelity original master recording collection. And I have 61 albums to show you. Not the biggest collection here in the vinyl community, but not the smallest either. And I have decided that I wanted to show them to you based on how I rank them. So based on my personal taste in music of what the albums are and what they sound like, I came up with a ranking system. So I look forward to showing you that. You may agree, you may disagree. It's totally subjective. It's just my opinion. So if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. I'm going to show a couple of honorable mentions here because these are what they call the Mobile Fidelity one steps. They are a huge step above in sound quality of anything else. And so I just received this one yesterday. Long story, and I'll discuss it in a later video. This is Monk's Dream by the Thelonious Monk Quartet, a one step. Also, I have one that I still haven't opened but will be opening soon. Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, a really great one step by Mobile Fidelity's original master recording. And now let's go ahead and get on. These are the ones that I think are good, and they're going to go on to what I think is great, and then we're going to move on to what I think is outstanding. So let's start with this one, Mistaken Identity by Kim Carnes. Most of you know the hit Betty Davis Eyes. It sounds really good. This is a really good record. It's just not one I pick up that often, but love having in the collection. Also, Place in the Sun by Pablo Cruz. You know, this one, it was at a price I couldn't resist, and Pablo Cruz had a lot of wonderful hits that I grew up with in the 70s and early 80s. So this is a great sounding version of A Place in the Sun by Pablo Cruz. Here is Air Supply's The One That You Love, and I found it at an antique store at a price I could not refuse. It is a great record that reminds me of my mom. She loved Air Supply. The song Sweet Dreams sounds incredible on here. This is another one, and it says that it's a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, and what I think that means, I believe they weren't able to get analog tapes from this, so they made a really good sounding record out of a good album. So the B-52's Cosmic Theme. Now we're going to move on to one that I just could not resist. It's Rod Stewart, Blondes Have More Fun. How could I not buy that one? And it sounds really good. The saxophone playing sounds incredible on here. Speaking of saxophone, Super Sax by Bird. This sounds really, really good. It is a great original master recording. Now this one is going to be one that's probably one of the more controversial ones. It ranks a little bit lower than what you would think it would. It is the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers. A great, great album. I just rank it a little lower than some of the others because quite frankly, I think Brown Sugar could have sounded better on this. I was disappointed with that. But as we move on to other songs such as Wild Horses, it sounds a lot better on there. But for the song Brown Sugar, I put this a little bit lower on my rankings. Still a great one. If you see it for a good price, pick it up. This is one I just recently received. I think I just need a little more time getting to know this album better. You know, when I heard Train Drops of Jupiter, it didn't blow me away like I thought it would. And I'm pretty sure this is a digital recording, not analog, because of the year it was made in. It's a good album and strong and solid. So I'm thrilled to have it in the collection, but it is a little bit on the lower end. Here is Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band's Night Moves. The song Main Street is really killer. I had a 45 of it. Well, I should say my mom had one, and we wore it out. So this is a nostalgic one. Sounds good. There's a lot of good hits on here. This is Jethro Tull's Broadsword and the Beast, and this is an 80s, a lot of synthesizer sound, and I think Mobile Fidelity did a really good job on that one. Now we're going to move on to Blondie, Parallel Lines. I love the song Heart of Glass. It was one of the first songs when I was a kid that I remember just absolutely loving. So this is a good one to have in the collection. And here is the Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle. And Fly Like an Eagle just soars on this album. Love having that one. Herb Alpert, Rise. This sounds incredible. And when I hear the song Rise, it immediately brings back wonderful memories of just being at home with my mom. And she would watch the weather, and a lot of times when there wasn't a weather reporter on, they were just showing the statistics of what to expect in the weather, they would have some background music. And more times than not, the song Rise was being played. So anytime I hear that song, it just brings me back to being home with mom and hearing the weather report. And if you grew up in the 70s and you hear the song Rise, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Weather reports played to songs in the background. This is a band that doesn't get enough love. I think they're so talented, Poco. And this is the album Legend. Such a great record, and the song Crazy Love is gorgeous. This was worth every penny of the $8 I spent to buy this record. I love Poco, an underestimated band. This is a recent find, Vanilla Fudge. You know, this is one you see in the dollar bins a lot, but this is a great sounding pressing of that album. And Vanilla Fudge, who I think has one of the lamest band names ever, that's just my opinion, but they do some covers of Beatles songs. Keep Me Hanging On is incredible. They're a good psychedelic little bit of a sound to them. I really enjoy this one. This sounds fantastic. Now we're going to move on to the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour. And this one probably doesn't rank as high as it should based on the love I have for this album. I just think there's a German pressing that I have that sounds better than this. So that's why this one is a little bit on the lower end. But if you see that one for a good price, pick it up. It's not disappointing at all. Miles Davis, On the Corner. And it is a great sounding record. 70s funk. It is not the traditional jazz album at all, but it's really good. So I love having that one in the collection. The Cars, Shake It Up. This sounds really good. And the Cars, 4 of their albums are now on a Mobile Fidelity, where they did a great job on them. This one is the weaker of the 4 for me personally. Still a great sounding record. Talk about a relaxing and enjoyable album. This is a classic, Al Stewart's Year of the Cat. This is a great sounding record and a very enjoyable listen. Love it. And now this is the original master recording of Miles Davis, Sorcerer. Love this one. Sounds great. As far as classics from Miles Davis, this one ranks a little bit lower than some of the others, but still love it. We're back to the Cars now, and this is Heartbeat City. You might think It's Magic is a wonderful record, wonderful song, and I love Heartbeat City. Drive, great album. The next one I'm going to show is probably my favorite sounding pressing of this album, and I've had others. This is Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs by Derek and the Dominoes. It's really hard to find a great sounding pressing of this album for some reason, but I think Mobile Fidelity did a good job on it. I love this. The album cover is one of my favorites, so love having that one. And we're going to move on to now another one that is really good, Jethro Tull's Aqua Lung. And I think Mobile Fidelity did a really good job. I just, and I haven't heard, just based on what other people are saying, there are other copies of this album that sound just as good or better for the money when it comes to Jethro Tull's Aqua Lung. Still so thrilled to have this one in the collection. This one is a sentimental choice for me, the Allman Brothers Eat a Peach. My daughter's name is Melissa, named after the beautiful song Melissa on this album. Sounds great. I love having this one. And to be honest, it was a matter of when I found this record. It was always in pretty used and worn condition. So having a clean copy that sounds really good was very important to me, and I love having that one. This is a record that everybody has in their collection. It is very important, and I think it does sound really good. It is Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles. The reason why it's not in one of the top, maybe the top 10 or a little closer to the top 10, is because I personally think that for the money, the Giles Martin remix, the mono version, other versions of this sound just as good, or maybe even a little bit better. But this is a wonderful copy of this album, Sgt. Pepper. If you can pick it up, pick it up. It's great. This is Stevie Nicks' Belladonna, and this one is really good. I think Leather and Lace and Stop Dragging My Heart Around sound incredible on here. Edge of 17 didn't blow me away, but maybe my expectations were a little too high because I love that song so much. I was just expecting to be just a mind-blowing version of it. It's really good, and love having this one in the collection. Here is Foreigner's Double Vision, another really great one. Thank you, Gary, from Gary's Vinyl Dungeon. He sent it that my way, and I really love this. This is wonderful. This is Joe Jackson, Night and Day. The song Stepping Out is beautiful on here. His piano playing sounds really good. He's so talented. And Breaking Us in Two is another great one from here. Beautiful record. I really love how so many different songs flow from one to the other without any pauses. It's a great album. Fleetwood Mac. This is the very first album that features Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, and it's beautiful. The original master recording of this one is fantastic. Moving on to Asia, Steely Dan. What a great record, and I think most pressings of this album sound so good, but because it's such a special album for my collection, I wanted to get the Mobile Fidelity version of it. And I love the song Peg, and just a killer record. I love it. So I love having that one. And now we're going to move on. I've got another box here that I've got to scoot over to show my records. Oh, it's so heavy. Okay. All right. Now let's move on to some more here. The Little River Band, and I just showed this one last week. First Under the Wire. Lonesome Loser Comes Alive. Cool Change is a wonderful gem off of this album, and I love having it. It's great to know there are other Little River Band fans out there. Abbey Road by the Beatles. Love it. This sounds good. If this is the only copy you own, this would be enough. However, there are some other editions like the one that Giles Martin put out that sounds pretty good. There is a UK version of it that sounds incredible. So Abbey Road, I love having that one in the collection. I'm a huge Beatles fan, so anything by them is great. Eric Clapton's Slow Hand. Wonderful Tonight is the gem on here, Cocaine. This sounds really good. I love having that one. Foreigner 4 and Waiting for a Girl Like You was a song that I just absolutely loved when I was growing up. It's one of my favorites. On this, I'm Gonna Win sounds killer. Urgent sounds amazing. So love having that one. Here is another great one. This is Donald Fagen's The Night Fly. I love this. This is so nice. And a special thank you to Brian in Tennessee. He gave me several of these that I'm going to be showing in this video. So thank you so much, Brian. This is wonderful. We're getting into the really great ones, the ones that I think are really great to outstanding. The Beatles, Help. I love having this one. It's just a really great album by the Beatles, and it sounds great on Mobile Fidelity, the original master recording. Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare. I really love this. I don't have a lot of Alice Cooper, but this one is fantastic. I need to get more from him. This sounds great. Supertramp, this one is Breakfast in America. This is an early version of it, and I recently did a reissue, but I missed out on that one. But I love having this one, the Logical Song, just a really good album. Imagine by John Lennon. I really love having this version of it. It's fantastic. So love having that. We're moving into a Bob Dylan album, and this is wonderful. This is the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, and they did an excellent job on the Bob Dylan reissues. They sound like Bob Dylan is in your house performing for you, so love having that one. Again, we're going to Beatles, and I love Rubber Soul. And I tend to think that the mono version of this one is better, but once I heard this version, it sounds really good. They really knocked this one out of the park. This is Rubber Soul by the Beatles. In My Life sounds wonderful on here, and I just really enjoy that one. This is a fairly recent pickup, Jack Johnson, music by Miles Davis. Another a little bit of a funky one, not quite as On the Corner, not quite as funky as that, but not quite the classic sound of jazz. But this is a very good one, and I love having that one. Sounds great. Here's another Miles Davis, Miles in the Sky. And this is a wonderful sounding record. There's other Miles Davis records I like a little bit more than this one, but this is really incredible, and he is kind of going into a direction that I really dig, so I love having that one. Here is David Bowie, and this is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, my favorite David Bowie album. As far as albums goes, I love this one, and it sounds really good on here. I really personally think the 2016 reissue is almost as good as this one, and for the money, the better deal. But I love having this one, and I got a good deal on it. Cream, this is a really good one, Wheels of Fire, and I love how this one sounds. The guitar is incredible on here. This is my favorite Bob Dylan album as far as sound goes. His harmonica sounds like he's just in my house performing for me. I love listening to Bob Dylan's John Wesley Harding. Great, great album. This one is one of those that, for me, the music is good, but it's not my favorite album. But because it sounds so incredible, it goes so high up for me. So, this is Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues. This is probably one of my best sounding albums. It's not one of my favorites when I listen to it, although I like it. But man, this one sounds incredible. Great one. This is Candy O by the Cars, another really great one. I love this album. Let's Go is a hit, but every song on here is really good. They did an excellent job on the Cars discography. This is my most recent as far as just the original master recording ones picked. This is something I've been wanting for a long time. I'm so excited to have. This is Chicago Transit Authority, and man, they capture Terry Kath at his best. The horns are incredible. The singing's beautiful. This is a great one, and I am thrilled to have it in my collection. Finally, it took me a long time to get this one. Now we are moving into the top 10 of what I think are outstanding. Several of these that I've already shown are outstanding. These are my top 10, my favorite Mobile Fidelity records that I have in my collection. Doesn't mean they're my favorite of all time because I don't have everything. But these are the ones that I cherish the most in my collection. We're going to start off with the Beatles White Album. I think that Mobile Fidelity did an excellent job on the White Album. Helter Skelter sounds just wonderful, beautiful. Julia on here is killer. There's a lot of Blackbird is beautiful. This is a really great version of the White Album. If this is the only one you had, don't worry about it. You got a great one. I hope I pronounced this correctly. This is another Miles Davis one, and it's called Nefertiti. It's just a beautiful classic jazz album that I love dearly. Think it's so great. So happy to have it in the collection. This is Eagles. This is Hotel California. Who doesn't have this one in their collection? But the original master recording sounds beautiful. You've never heard the song Hotel California until you've heard it on here. It's so good. Just a beautiful album. Life in the Fast Lane is probably my favorite on here. Love it. Joe Walsh kills it on the guitar. This is a very sentimental album, but it also sounds really good. And this is Styx, The Grand Illusion. I have talked about this one on my channel numerous times. It's just because I love it so much. What a great record. Love having that one, and having that one in the original master recording was a dream come true. It took me forever to find it out in the wild. So when I found that one, it was a great day. This one I really like. The sound of it blows me away, and it's very interesting because this one is a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, meaning they did not get this one from the analog tapes, and yet they made this sound so good. This is a beautiful record. I love it. I don't know if they are still selling it now. It's fairly recent, but this is a beautiful record. I love the song. Scarborough Fair is gorgeous on here. Homeward Bound is really great. Feeling Groovy. Just a beautiful, beautiful record. Now we're into Miles Davis Kind of Blue, and they kind of made this one a little bit fancy. They put this one in a box. It's a 2LP, 45 RPM, and it sounds great. I already had Kind of Blue, a very good version of it. This one is mind-blowingly good though. So great. So it ranks very high on my Mobile Fidelity collection. This next record, anytime I play it, I never sit still. I have to get up and dance, and hopefully no one's walking past the house and looking in the windows when I am. It is David Bowie's Let's Dance. This is the only demonstration copy that I own by Mobile Fidelity. I do have some other promos, but this one was, it says specifically on the gold stamp here, it is for demonstration only. This was not played very often. My record is in perfect condition, and this sounds great. And I really do love, even though Ziggy Stardust is my favorite album by David Bowie, I love the way this one sounds, so it ranks a little bit higher as far as the Mobile Fidelity original master recordings go. And I love David Bowie's deep, rich voice as he got older. I think it was fantastic. Listen to the song China Girl and you'll understand what I mean. He sounded fantastic on here. We are in the top 3 now, and this is one you would have to expect would be in anybody's top 3. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, and I have the 30th anniversary. I haven't done a comparison sound to it. The 30th anniversary sounds really good, but this one is too. It's beautiful. I love having this one. This is one of the treasure jewels of my collection, and this is an album I listen to often. So love having multiple versions, and especially having that Mobile Fidelity original master recording. At number 2 is The Cars. I've already shown them so many times, but this is their debut album, and they knocked it out of the park. For one, I love this album. Every song to me is a hit. And then you get it on Mobile Fidelity's original master recording, and boom, your mind is blown. It's so beautiful. Look up Moving in Stereo, My Best Friend's Girl. It just rocks on here. If you can get this version of the Cars debut album, get it. You will never regret it. So what is my favorite album from Mobile Fidelity that I have in my collection so far? You might be surprised. It is Miles Davis in a Silent Way. I think this is gorgeous. This is my favorite Miles Davis album. It is my favorite jazz album, and it sounds like a dream on Mobile Fidelity original master recording. So I really love this one, and I'm actively searching for just another copy. Anytime I go to a record store, I always look to see if I can find another one of these, because I have a friend that I want to send this one to really, really bad. This is my favorite album in my entire collection, but I love them all. I just really am a huge fan of Mobile Fidelity. I'm going to keep on buying their albums. I've got Run DMC on pre-order. Hopefully I'll get that one soon. You know, just really love these records. They're very special. So let me know if you collect Mobile Fidelity original master recordings. If you do, tell me which one is your favorite, which one stands out the most to you. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everyone who leaves comments and has subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.